session, guys, today. And today we will be dealing with data visualizations. And we can do data visualizations with two libraries. One is Matplot library as well as Seaborn. So all the things we'll be doing today. But first we'll understand how do we plot basic plots with the help of Matplot library. All right. So this Matplot library can be considered as the grandfather for the data visualization, which is in Python, and it was created by John Hunter. He created it to try to replicate MATLAB's plotting capabilities in Python. So I hope if you are from EC or so, we had MATLAB laboratory, right? So there we used to write codes regarding sine waves, cos waves, correlation waves, etc., 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 right? So based on that thing, these people have invented this Matplot library, which is purely on Python. So if you're very familiar with MATLAB, then Matplotlib will be very natural to use. And it is used for 2D and 3D graphics. I mean, 2D graphs and 3D graphs can be clearly visualized with the help of MATLAB library. And some of the major pros, the advantages of Matplot is generally it is easy to get started for simpler plots, support for custom labels and text, great control of every element in a figure, high quality of output in many formats, very customizable in general. And Matplot allows you to create reproducible figures programmatically. So we'll learn how to use it. And before continuing this session, if you want to learn more about Matplotlib, you can directly browse to matplotlib.org. So this is the link where you can find, this is the official documentation of Matplot library. So if you are very much interested in these plottings and data visualizations, you can learn more in this Matplot library. And if people who are not using Spider or anything, first of all, you have to install Matplotlib. So you use the command pip install Matplotlib. So open command prompt and just install Matplot library if people are not using Jupyter Notebook. That means the Anaconda Navigator. All right. So once this is done, let me start with the practical session, guys. I'm creating a new Python folder. So first we'll see the basic plots in Matplot library, and then we'll start the Seaborn. Okay. So first, to use Matplot library, first of all, you have to import the library. So I'm importing the library with import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. So I'm giving the name as plt for my plotting. For Jupyter Notebook, only for Jupyter Notebook, you have to write a command for plotting your figures. So which is nothing but percentile matplotlib lib space inline. So the first one is importing the library and the second one is to showcase the figures. This is only used in Jupyter Notebook. In other IDEs also you have to use plt.show after writing the code. After writing the code, I mean after writing the plotting code, I'll tell you how to write it. Okay. So now what I want to do is I would like to plot basic plots between two entities. One is X and one is Y. So let's walk through a simple example to accomplish this. So here what I'm using is I am creating two NumPy arrays. You can also use list case, but most likely you will be passing NumPy arrays or pandas columns, right? So that's the reason I am creating a NumPy array. How do I create a NumPy array? Import NumPy as NP X is equal to NP dot. I'm taking linspace as my linspace function. Linspace of 0, 5, 11. So I am getting 11. I'm creating 11 linearly spaced numbers between 0 and 5. And I'm also creating another y which is equal to x power 2. So if you see x, you have 0, 0 0.5, 1, 1.5, something like that. If you see y, you will have squares of x and y. So you can consider x as one of the column in data set. You can consider one of the column in data set or one of the independent variable. One of the independent variable. And y you can consider it as dependent or output variable. So you can consider dependent or output variable. So now I want to plot few graphs using this x and y. So first one is the line plot. So I want to plot a line graph between x and y. So how can you draw it? Plt dot plot of x comma y. You can directly run this, then your plot will be created. If suppose you are not using Jupyter Notebook, then you have to write plt dot show. Until and unless you showcase this, the graph will not be shown. So this is a line plot between your x and y. Understood? And I want to change the color of my line graph. So how can I put it? Comma, color is equal to red. So now your line plot got converted into a red color. Now I want to add some of the access to this. Access labels. So here I want to write some information. Here I want to write some information. I want to give the title to that. So at that time, what I do is I'll plot an X label of X axis title here. Plot dot y label y axis title here. Plot dot title give any title. Just execute this. So you got a line plot between your x and y. Your x and y. So here with this graph, you can say what is the relationship between x and y. So what is the relation between x and y, guys? Can you please tell me? If you directly see the numbers, can you see any relationship between x and y? You cannot. Divya, it is square because you have given square. Okay, fine. You have given it, so that's the reason it is like that. But you are not aware of it. I just showed you this graph. Without that, what would you say? Those are exponentially increasing. The relation between x and y is linearly exponential. I mean, not, I'm sorry, exponent, proportionally, it is exponential graph. So if x is 1, then y could be y square or y cube or y power 4, something else like that. So the main purpose of visualizations is to see the relation between two entities, whether it is directly proportional or indirectly proportional or exponential or something like that. So if it is directly proportional, then you will get a linear graph without this exponential curve. All right. So done till here, everyone. So let's see the scatter plot. I hope everyone know what scatter plot is, right? Like instead of a line, you will get the points. So let's see that. Just execute, just see this. Instead of plot, you can just write scatter. So if you see, a scatter plot is created. A scatter plot is created. Now, if I want to change this dots to some star or some X or something else, then at that time, what I do is I just add something to this scatter function. The argument is marker is equal to star and color is equal to green. Just execute this. So you got a scatter plot with star as a marker and is plotted in the green color. All right. So scatter plot is to just see the points and like what is the distribution of the points. Distribution of the points in a curve. In the same way, we can have a bar plot. So instead of a plot, you can just give bar. Just execute this. Then a bar graph is created. So actually it is exponentially increasing, right? So that's the reason there is no difference between one point and other point. So this is how you will be creating a bar graph. All right. Done till here. In the place of this senthil, yeah, you can give your color codes. You can give your color codes as well. Not only just red, pink, orange, you can also give your color codes. Okay, fine. Now, what my aim is, I want to plot my all the three graphs in a single graph. So at that time, what I do is I would like to make use of subplots. Subplots. So I'll tell you what are those subplots, but first we will execute it and then I'll explain you what it is. All right. So plot dot subplot of 1 comma 2 comma 1, 1 comma 2 comma 1. Now here what I am doing is I want to plot my line plot, or else you can take 2 comma 2. I'll tell you what is this 2 comma 2 within 2 minutes, but first we'll write the program and then we'll execute it. The same thing, 2 comma 2 comma 2. Instead of plot, I would like to have a scatter plot, green, and this as my marker. Marker is equal to star. In the same way, I want to plot my bar graph. Just execute this. Hmm? Yes. So if you see this, I have divided my plot into subplots. If you see this in the first plot, my line plot is being generated. In the second plot, my scatter plot is generated. In the fourth plot, my bar plot is generated. For suppose if you write it as 3, then it is generating your graph over here. So how do we interpret this code? So I'm putting this in the chat window. Everyone can use the same thing. So here what I am doing is I am dividing my plot into quadrants. Plot into quadrants is nothing but into parts. So here I am dividing my plot into 2 rows and 2 columns. For suppose for suppose this is my area, you assume. This is my area. Now I am dividing this area into 2 rows and 2 columns. So 2 rows is nothing but I am just adding a line over here and just I'm adding a line over here. So this becomes 2 by 2. So 2 rows and 2 columns. So now this becomes the first quadrant. This becomes the second quadrant. This becomes the third quadrant. And this becomes the fourth quadrant. Alright, this becomes the fourth quadrant. So here in 2 by 2 quadrants, in the first quadrant, so if you interpret this code, in this 2 by 2 plot, in the first quadrant, I want to plot my line graph. I want to plot my line graph. So this became the first quadrant, right? So in the first quadrant, if you see, I am drawing my line graph. So that's what it is here. Line graph. In second quadrant, it is scatter. In the third quadrant, it is bar. Yes. So this is what I did over here. So 2 by 2. 2 by 2 by 2, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. If suppose I take it as 3 by 3. So how many quadrants will get now? If suppose I take it as 3 by 3, how many quadrants will get? Can someone tell me? 3 by 3 is 6, Vaishnavi. 8. How can you get 8? How can you get 6? 9 you will get. Yes, you will get 9 quadrants. Like 3 by 3 is nothing but 1, 2. Draw another line. This becomes 3 by 3. Yes. Is this 3 by 3? So this becomes second one. This becomes third one. This becomes fourth. Fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. Right? So now based on your thing, you can just plot it. So in the sixth plot, I want to put this. In the ninth plot, I want to put this. In the ninth part, in the first plot, I want to put this. Just execute this. So you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But this is somewhat congested, right? So there is another process how you can draw all the graphs on a single plane. I'll show that in a few minutes. But before that, we'll see some other things as well. All right. So this is how you will be adding the subplots. So did you understand what subplots are now? What I am doing over here? So first I am dividing my plane region into one of the matrix. So in that matrix, you will have some quadrants. So in that quadrants, I want to plot my different plots. Understood, guys? Did you understand this? Yes or no? What I want to do is, I want to draw two graphs in a single plane. So at that time, what I do? So what I want to do is I want to plot two graphs in a single plane. Plot dot plot xy comma color is equal to red, and y comma x comma color is equal to red. I just execute this. So now what happened? My two graphs got plotted like this. All right. So if you want to see some sort of differentiation, you can change the colors. So the red one is between x and y, and the blue one is y and x. But if I directly show this graph to someone who don't know about this, can he be able to understand what this is? He'll think those are two lines which are showcased like that. Yes or no? So what I want to do is I want to add some labels to it. I want to add some labels to it. So how can I add? Comma, label is equal to x versus y, comma, label is equal to y versus x, y versus x. Just execute this. Can you see those a versus x versus y and y versus x in the plane, even though I wrote the things? No. So to make these things appear on the graph, you have another function called legend. You have another function called legend. So what is that legend? Plot dot legend. Plot dot legend. Just execute this. Now can you see this? Now red line is the plot between x and y. Blue line is the plot between y versus x. So legend is to do some sort of labeling to the different plots on a graph. Different plots on a graph. All right. Now let's see how can I give my own size to my figure. How can I give my own size to my figure? So now let's go with pie graph. Let's go with pie chart. So how can you draw the pie chart? So why do we use pie charts, guys? Can someone tell me? Can someone tell me why do we use pie charts? To know the value, to know the percentage of, yeah, whatever Krishna Vamsi said is correct, to know what is the percentage of that value regarding an entity. So here I'll just take an example of for institute where they are offering courses like PHP, comma, Python, comma, Java, comma, C. Okay, and there are some students who got enrolled, and the number of students who got enrolled is 75 for PHP, and 70 for Python, 80 for Java, and 60 for C. Okay. So now I want to see what is the percentage of these people joining the classes. So till now we have created a graph of its own area, right? Graph of its own area. Yes or no? Now what I want to do is I would like to create my own area and I would like to plot the graph in that area itself. So how can I draw that? I'll show you now. Understood, guys, what I meant? Did you understand what I meant, guys? So here we didn't give any sort of area or so. It directly took its own area and plotted the graph. Now what I want to do is I would like to create some sort of area, and in that area I would like to showcase it. So here what I am doing is I am first giving a figure. So fig is equal to plot dot figure. So figure is the thing which is used to plot a figure. So now what to this figure I would like to add some sort of axis. Axis in the sense the length and width of that. Okay. So to do so, what I'll do is axis 1 is equal to figure. I have taken figure, right? So figure dot add underscore axes of 0.1 comma 0.1 comma 0.8 comma 0.8, 0.1 comma 0.8. So if you see this, a figure is created and this figure is got created. So what is this figure? The first one is left. The second one is bottom. The next one is width. The next one is height. So you can see this, from where am I supposed to start my graph. So this is an area, okay? Jupyter Notebook, in Jupyter Notebook, this is an area. So what I am doing is from left, from 0.1 and 0.2 with a width of 0.8 and a height of 0.8, draw a figure. Did you understand what are all these, guys? This is the left point, this is the bottom point, this is the width, this is the height. Did you understand this? For example, this is a notepad, okay? Yes, I'm telling you. So for example, if you want to draw a figure, if you want to draw a square, all right? If you want to draw a square, you directly draw a square like this. Yes or no? Fine. So this is a Word document, okay? And this Word document is having some rules. Can you see this? It is having a ruler. If suppose you just move this aside, then you can, this is moving. Can you see this? Can you see this? Yes. So that means that Word document has some sort of dimensions. Yes or no? So here it has some dimensions, and here also it has dimensions. Yes or no? So you're starting the triangle at the value 1 and the value something like 0.5. Have you seen this? Can you consider like that? 1 and 1. Can you consider like that? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? No answer. If you see here, there is some sort of dimensions. So this triangle is starting at, for suppose, this triangle is starting at this 1 and something 0.5. This is nothing but left bottom, left top. So from left top, start drawing the triangle with the height, with the width of 0.8 and with the height of something. So here also in the graph, what I am doing is, in this area, start the graph from 0.1 and 0.1. Now this is 0.1 and 0.5. So this is the x-axis 0.1 and y-axis 0.5. From this, the width is 0.8 and the height is 0.8. So you can draw a rectangle here. Can you see this? Now did you understand what is the 0.5 and 0.1 now? Actually, you cannot see the bottom left, something like bottom left and this modification, but you can change this 10 comma 10. So have you seen this? So it is getting increased. Yes. Did you understand this 0.1? What is this 0.1 and 0.1 now? Did you understand, guys? You didn't. You didn't understood, or you understood it? Yes. So you're just taking one point. From that point, you are drawing a rectangle. This is what the thing is. All right. So on this, what I want to draw is, I would like to draw a pie graph. Draw a pie graph. So how can you draw it? Axis 1. So on this axis, I have to draw axis 1 dot pi of numbers, comma, TE labels. Number. So number, comma, I want to plot the pie graph between number as well as label, right? So at that time, what I give, I'll just put it as number, and I'm giving the argument labels is equal to labels, right? So it is saying that orange is Python, blue is PHP, green is Java, and This red is C. But can you see the percentage of the Python, PHP, C and something else? No, right? So that's the reason there is another argument called auto percentage. Auto, 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 PCT, percentage is equal to ampersand, ampersand 0.1 float. So you are making it as a floating number, and after a number, one decimal point is to be there. 0.1f is nothing but the floating number with one decimal point after the actual number. Percentile, percentile, percentile. If you just execute this, so you can see this. Python is occupying 24.6, 26.3, 28.1, 21.1. Yes, it will take its default colors, Vaishnavi, but you can also give your own colors. So how can you give your own colors? Colors is equal to, with an argument, comma, colors is equal to orange, comma, yellow, comma, green, comma, pink, let's suppose. COLORS, guys, COLORS. So now if you see, you got your own colors. And coming to this, here you are asking the interpreter to draw a project. There is no change. It is there. It has pink color. It has green color. It don't have blue and red. It got changed. And Jiva, what is this? I'll answer your doubts, Sharanya. Just wait. So here I am plotting the graph between numbers and what are the labels that it has. This is the labels, of course. Okay, I'll take it as let's change the numbers. Let's change the variables. Then you'll understand, Jiva. Here, what I'm doing is courses. Here is students. Okay, so I want to plot the graph between students and some of the labels. So what are those labels? Those labels are nothing but courses. Now just execute this, then you can see this. Did you understand, Jiva? So labels is nothing but to which you want to plot the graph between the numerical data as well as the textual data. Did you understand, Jiva? Okay. Now coming to Sharanya. Even we don't give percentile after 0.1, why there is no change? See, if you don't give that percentile, it says it is an incomplete format. It will give an error. This 0.1f, if you see here, the percentage symbol is missing. Can you see this, Sharanya? If you remove that 2 percentiles, the percentile symbol is missing. So this percentile symbol is nothing but what is the character that you would like to print after that. So now if you see, the percentile got created. Have you seen this? Now if you just put at the rate, it will give an error because not enough arguments for format string. So auto PCT will only take some sort of string formats, and that should be given in this way itself. Now if you want to change 2 decimals or 3 decimals, give 0.3 here. Now you can see 3 decimals got appended, right? So this is what auto PCT is. Understood, guys? This is what all about pie chart. Now, what I would like to do is, I would like to plot pie graph, bar graph, line graph, and scatter graph. That's what, Aarti, I told you. 0.3 is nothing but that is a floating point. It will tell how many decimal points should be there after the number. Just now I said the same thing. If you just put 0.1, one decimal point is being showcased. If you put 5 decimal point is showcased. If you don't put anything, 6 decimal points will be showcased, because floating number will give defaultly 6 decimal points. Understood, Aarti? Now, my thing is to plot all the graphs in a single plot. How do you plot it? So here what I am doing is, I am creating an other axis. Axis is equal to figure. First I'll plot a figure first. So I have plotted a figure, right? First I plotted a figure and then I gave my axis. Yes or no? So in the same way, first I'll plot a figure. Figure is equal to plot dot figure, figure of fig size is equal to 10, 10. So you can draw a default figure like this, or you can also give a size of a figure by giving figure size in the argument. So I'm just plotting a figure. Once I've plotted a figure, I have to add subplot axis to this figure. So what I do is, first I'll take ax1 is equal to fig dot add underscore subplot of 2, 2, 1. Subplot of 2, 2, 1. That is, I am dividing the whole figure of size 10 by 10 into 2, 2, and that is 2 by 2 matrix. And in the first quadrant, I want to plot something. So what is that something? We'll decide. And then I am adding another axis. AX1, AX2, AX3, and AX4. So AX2, AX3, AX4. So this is my second figure. This is my third figure. This is my fourth figure. All right. So in the first figure, I want to plot AX1 dot plot of x comma y comma color is equal to red. scatter x comma y comma color is equal to blue. Bar x2 x2 x3 x3 dot bar of color red, and in the place of here I am plotting a bar graph. This is axis 4. Just execute this, you will find a figure. Now you find it in a better way than this, right? So it is like somewhat congested because it has taken its own area. But here what we did, I have first plotted a figure. I've created a figure of size 10 by 10. And then I am adding some sort of subplots to it. That is, I am dividing that plot, that 10 by 10 size plot into 2 by 2. That is 2 rows and 2 columns. In the first one, in the first axis, I want to plot my plot graph, the line graph. In the second quadrant, I want to plot my scatter. In the third, I want to add my bar. In the fourth, I want to add my pi. Understood, guys? So this is what all about the visualizations of Matplot. So I'm pasting the chat, I'm pasting the graph in the chat window. You can use it. Now, if you have any doubts, you can ask me.